बोले तब गौरवने सुरधुनि काटे हरा देहा कृष्ण बोले कंदिया बेड़बो देह सुख चढ़ी नाना लता तारू ताले कंदिया बेड़बो देह सुख चढ़ी नाना लता तरुतले स्वपचा गृहते माघिया कहिबो पीबो सरस्वती जला स्वपचा गृहते माघिया कहिबो पीबो सरस्वती जला पुलिने गड़गड़ी दीबो कोरी कृष्ण कोलाहला पुलिने गड़गड़ी दीबो कोरी कृष्ण कोलाहल दाम शिवा से जाने प्रणति कोरिया मागी भो कृपार लेसा दामवासी जाने प्रणति कोरिया मागी भो कृपार लेसा वैष्णवाचरण माघी दोरी आवा दूत बेश वैष्णवाचरण रेणुगाया माखी दोरी आवा दूत बेश गौड़ ब्रज जाने वेदना देखी बो हाई बो बरज भासी गौड़ ब्रज जाने वेदना देखी वो हाई वो बरज भासी ता मेरा स्वरूप सुर नयने होय गो राधा राधासी ता मेरा स्वरूप होय गो राधा राधासी कबे गौरवाने सुरधुनी ताटे राधे कृष्ण बोले हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव देव जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौरव हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमः ॐ चक्षुर्गुरुष्म श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रतां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भवद्वेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेताय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गोरेतिसे नमः। नमो ब्रह्मण्याय देवाय गो ब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। पवित्र पवित्र वा सर्वावस्था यस्मरे पुंडरीकाक्ष सावाह्यं विष्णु विष्णु we Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining today's session. So it's in a weekday. So I will try to complete this today's lecture as early as possible. Hare Krishna Prasad Prabhu and Pranam. Thank you so much for giving your association.
हरे
Hare,
कृष्ण संतोष आदित्य प्रभु धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna Sri Gopal Prabhu Dhanavad Pranam. Vara Prabhu Dhanavad Pranam. Saraswati Mataji Dhanavad Pranam. Pooja Mataji and Praveen Prabhu Dhanavad Pranam.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Lilananda Prabhu Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak Bhagavatam on this auspicious day. Great. So thank you Pushkala for joining. Thank you Vanilla Mataji for joining.
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna.
प्रभु दंडवत
So thank you,
धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
thank you Shilpa Mataji for giving me a wonderful chapter to discuss. So today we are discussing a very beautiful chapter of, of 7th Canto, 15th chapter. Let me share this. So today we are discussing instructions for civilized human beings. So Srimad Bhagavatam is an ocean. Every word, if you take from Srimad Bhagavatam, any word you can go into the depth of the ocean, and you can find so many pearls, and each pearl can transform our lives. But Narad Muni in this chapter, of course, in all the chapters, he is mentioning that our goal of life is to go back to Godhead, to Krishna, to go beyond this material world, to come out of this samsara sagara. To come out of this samsara sagara, we have to dive deep into the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, what is Bhagavatam all about? Dive deep into the Bhagavatam. So, as we go deeper into and deeper into the Bhagavatam, we go higher into the and Goloka. But today, I will try to discuss what Srila Prabhupada is going to tell us, but it would be like a drop on the surface of this ocean of Bhagavatam. Please forgive me for that, for not taking a deep dive into the Srimad Bhagavatam, but I will give you an overview of what is happening in this current chapter. So these instructions for the civilized human beings, as 80 slokas, we will be discussing first 20 slokas. The first 20 slokas deal with rules for Vedic rituals and transcending them, avoiding irreligion. There are 5 types of irreligions. We'll see what are they, and cultivating satisfaction. So our ancestors used to say one should lead a satisfied life, not a sense gratified life. Then we'll be in the later sessions we'll be seeing the processes of conquering these anarthas and glories of a guru, the process of liberation for a householder, the body chariot metaphor, the paths of the Pravritti and Nivritti Marga, the summary of all the occupational duties, and Narada Muni glorifies the Pandavas, and Sukadeva Goswami describes Yudhishthira's response and concludes this chapter. Today is an auspicious day, as you all know, it is Ekadasi. So one auspiciousness is Ekadasi. So when I was listening to one of the lectures from Melbourne, ISKCON Melbourne, it was mentioned that there is another auspiciousness. So every new chapter, every beginning of the new chapter is also an auspicious. So I am fortunate enough to get to read the new chapter 7.15 on this auspicious day of Ekadasi among the devotees. So let us see what is there in the first 20 slokas. So in the interest of the time, I will be reading the slokas and the translation. Right. So text 1. So 1 and 2, we'll go with 1 and 2 together. Sri Naradam Vacha Karmanishta Trijake Che Taponishta Nruvanire Swadhyaya Anya Pravachane Kechana Jnana Yogayo. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Narada Muni continued, my dear king, some Brahmanas are very much attached to the fruitive activities. Some are attached to the austerities and penances, and still others study the Vedic literatures. Whereas some, are, although very few, cultivate knowledge and practice different yogas, especially Bhakti yoga. Text number 2. ज्ञाननिष्ठाय ध्येयानि कव्यानि अनन्तयम् इच्छता दैवे च तत् अभावेश इतरभ्यो यथार्थः. A person desiring liberation for his forefathers or himself should give charity to a Brahmana who adheres to the impersonal monism or Jnana-nishtha. In the absence of such an advanced Brahmana, charity may be given to a Brahmana addicted to fruitive activities or karmakanda. But there are two processes by which to get free from the material bondage. One involves Jnana-kanda and Karma-kanda, and other involves Upasana-kanda. Vaishnavas never want to merge into the existence of the Supreme. Rather, they want to be everlastingly servants of the Lord to render loving service unto Him. In these words, the words Anantiyam Ichchata refer to persons who desire to achieve liberation from material bondage and merge into the existence of the Lord. Devotees, however, whose objective is to associate personally with the Lord, have no desire to accept the activities of Karmakanda or Jnanakanda. For pure devotional service is above both Karmakanda and Jnanakanda. Anyavilasita sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. In a pure devotional service, there is not even a pinch of Jnana or Karma. Consequently, when Vaishnavas distribute charity, they do not need to find a Brahmana performing the activities of Jnanakanda or Karmakanda. The best example in this regard is provided by an Advaita Goswami, who after performing the Shraddha ceremony for his father, offered charity to Haridas Thakura. Although it was known to everyone that Haridas Thakura was born in a Muhammadan family, not a Brahmana family, and was not interested in the activities of Jnanakanda or Karmakanda. Charity, therefore, should be given to the first class transcendentalist, the devotee, because Shastras recommend Muktanam api siddhanam Narayana Parayana Sudurlava Prasannatma Kotishva api Mahamuni. O great sage, among many millions who are liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation, one may be a devotee of Lord Narayana or Krishna. Such devotees who are fully peaceful are extremely rare. Bhagavatam 6.14.5. A Vaishnava is in a higher position than a Jnani, and therefore Advaita Acharya selected Haridas Thakura to be a person to accept his charity. The Supreme Lord also says, Name Bhaktas Chaturvedi Madbhakta Swapacha Priya Tasme Deyam Tato Brahmyam Sacha Pujyo Edadyah. Even though a person is very learned scholar of the various Sanskrit literatures, he is not accepted as my devotee unless he is pure in devotional service. However, even though a person is born in a family of dog eaters, he is very dear to me if he is very pure devotee who has no motive to enjoy fruitive activity or mental speculation. Indeed, all respect should be given to him, and whatever he offers should be accepted. Such devotees are acceptable as I am, worshipable as I am. Hari Bhakti Virasa 10.127. Therefore, even if not born in a Brahmana family, a devotee, because of his devotion to the Lord, is above all the kinds of Brahmanas, whether they be Karmakandis or Jnanakandis. In this regard, it may be mentioned that Brahmanas in Vrindavan who are Karmakandis and Jnanakandis sometimes decline to accept invitations to our temple because our temple is known as Angrezi temple or Anglican temple. But in accordance with the evidence given in the Shastras and the examples set by Advaita Acharya, who give prasada to devotees regardless of whether they come from India, Europe, or America, it is the conclusion of the Shastra that instead of feeding many Jnanakandi or Karmakandi Brahmanas, it is better to feed a pure Vaishnava regardless of where he comes from. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.30. Api chesudacharo vajate mam ananya bhav sadhur eva samantavya samyak vyavastitosmi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in the devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. Thus, it does not matter whether a devotee comes from a Brahmana family or non-Brahmana family. He is fully devoted to Krishna. He is a sadhu. Hare Krishna. It's a long purport. So, in this chapter, Narada Muni continues to describe the path of Grihasthas. So, earlier in this chapter of in this canto, Narada Muni describes about Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu, how Narasimhadev has appeared. So, we have seen the elaborate how Narasimhadev appeared for Prahlad Maharaj and annihilates Hiranyakashipu and discussion between Narasimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj we have seen. Later, Narada Muni goes on to explain to Yudhishthira Maharaj the glories of Prahlad Maharaj and how a person should lead in a bhakti life. And in the 11th chapter, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Narada Muni like this. Maharaj Yudhishthira said, My dear Lord, I wish to hear from you about the principles of religion by which one can attain the ultimate goal of life, which is devotional service. The goal of all the Vedas is the devotional service. I wish to hear about the general occupational duties of the human society and the system of social and spiritual advancement known as Varnashrama Dharma. So here, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked about Lunam Dharmam Sanatanam. He asked about Sanatana Dharma. We speak about Sanatana Dharma, but what is Sanatana Dharma? Sanatana Dharma means eternal duty. So what is eternal? The soul is eternal. The eternal duty of the soul is a Sanatana Dharma, which is the devotional service. The word Sanatana refers to which is eternal, which does not change but continues in all the circumstances. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita he explains Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. Our Sanatana Dharma is to realize that we are the souls and our constitutional position is always a devotee of Krishna or a servant of Krishna. Therefore, the mentality of the service is called the eternal occupational duty. The Sanatana Dharma also translates to be the service attitude towards a pure devotees. This eternal occupation duty can be organized through the institution of Varnashrama Dharma. So, broadly, there are two types of dharma. One is the Varnashrama Dharma, and the second is the Bhagavata Dharma, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. There are two ways, methods we can realize this devotional service. Of course, Bhagavata Dharma is the most important thing, and Varnashrama Dharma, institution of four Varnas, which are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, will lead us into the practice of Bhagavata Dharma. And to this question, Narada Muni explains about the different varnashramas. First, he explains about brahmacharis and vanaprasthas, and then he goes on to explain about the sannyasis, the qualities of all these things. To this entire, the core of these three is to avoid sex life and practice bhakti marga and completely dedicate to the service of Lord Sri Krishna. But to this, Maharaj Yudhishthira got a doubt. Say, Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired from Narada Muni, "Oh my lord, oh great sage, kindly explain how we are staying at a home without knowledge of the goal of the life may also easily attain liberation according to the instruction of Vedas." When Narada Muni explained about the path of sannyasis, brahmacharis, and vanaprasthas, naturally a grihastha will get a doubt. We are not like Prahlad Maharaj, we are not like Yudhishthira Maharaj, we are grihasthas, we have so many other duties to take care of. And how, as a grihastha, can we get the same liberation with all the three ashramas are getting? It is not that grihasthas cannot get Krishna. So anyone who follows any of the four varnas and four ashramas can be delivered by Krishna. Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, how can we getting liberated? To this, Narada Muni explains. Narada Muni replied, "My dear king, those who stay at home as householders must act to earn their livelihood, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they should offer these results to Krishna, Vasudeva. How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of a devotees. This is what is much more important. So we are grihasthas staying in the homes and we have certain leniency. So one example was given. So we have presently we are in a high-rise apartments. We have marble flooring, tiles, etc. So when you do the mopping, put water and do the mopping, and you don't properly mop it, what will happen? The water remains there, and we don't see, we may slip it. Though externally the marble looks so attractive, if you are not careful about how you clean that marble, if you leave a traces of even a slight traces of water, we may fall down. Similarly, Grihastha ashram is a like a marble flooring among the four ashramas. So it looks so attractive. So leniency is given. Enjoyment is sanctioned. Of course, it is in the rules and regulations. But if we are not careful, we may fall down from the our position. Prahlad Maharaj says, Gruham Andakupam. This family life is like a deep, dark well. And if we are not careful enough, we may fall down into this well. In this slokas, in the next one and two slokas, after that explanation of the grihasthas, Narada Muni comes on to explain the superiority of the Brahmanas. We know Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Go Brahmaneta. How Lord Shri Krishna values Brahmanas. And in this, four kinds of the Brahmanas are being explained. So who are these four kinds of the Brahmanas? The Karmanishta Brahmanas. The first type of Brahmana is Karmanishta Brahmanas. Who are these Karmanishta Brahmanas? They are Grihasthas, who are devoted to performing various rituals as per the Vedic injunctions. The second type of the Brahmanas are Konishta Brahmanas or Vanaprasthas, who are devoted to austerity. Swadhyaya Nishtha or Brahmacharis, who are devoted to studying and preaching the Vedas. Then comes the Jnana Nishtha, Sannyasis, who are devoted to the culturing knowledge and bhakti. So they travel all over the world, and give bhakti to all the people. If you see the order of mentioning, Narada Muni mentions first Grihasthas, then Vanaprasthas, then Brahmacharis, then Sannyasis. How is this order given? The order is given according to the detachment or attachment towards Krishna. How much they are attached towards the Krishna, based on that, they are given the higher position. The sannyasis are the one who are completely dedicated to serving Lord Sri Krishna. They don't have any material motives. But the grihasthas are the lowest. Karmanishta or Grihasthas are the lowest because we are given the facility for enjoyment. And there is a possibility that we may slip out of this devotional service. But whatever may be, everyone can be everyone can go beyond this three modes of this material world. And here in the purport, it is mentioned there are two processes by which to be free from material bondage. So one is the Jnana Kanda and Karma Kanda. So through knowledge and through actions. And other involves Upasana Kanda. So this is a process of ordinary Brahmanas. But Vaishnavas are much higher than the Brahmanas. So Brahmana means Brahma Jnana iti Brahmana. One who knows the Brahma Jnana is a Brahmana. And Vaishnavas are higher than the Brahmana. They know the Brahma Jnana and they know who is the ultimate, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all these Vedas, so dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So moksha or liberation leads us to merging the Brahman. So this is what we see in the four Vedas. Liberation means the five kinds of Sayujya, Sarupya, Samipya, Salokya, Salokya, all these things. So, but for a Vaishnava, this kind of liberation is worse than a hell. And Vaishnavas don't like to merge, but they want the eternal service of Mama Janmani Janmani Avatar Bhakti Ahetukitva. Ahetuki Bhakti is what is derived from the Vaishnavas. So how can we get the Ahetuki Bhakti? When it is Anya Vilashita Sunya Jnana Karmadi Anamritam. So our action should not be tinged by the Anya Abhilashita. Anya Ashita means Anya means the material desires. Our activity should not be contaminated by the material desires. In pure devotional service, there is not even a pinch of anangara karma. Consequently, when Vaishnavas distribute charity, they do not need to find Brahmanas. So in the second sloka, so it is mentioned in the Vedas, it is mentioned that we have to give charity to the Brahmanas. But who are the Brahmanas to whom I should give charity? Bhagavad Gita says the charity should be given according to time, place, and circumstances to a proper person. Otherwise, it is contaminated by three modes of the material, three nature, Rajo, Sanvo, Sattva, Guna, which we have seen in Bhagavad Gita. So, as a Vaishnavas, as a practicing devotees, we should know whom to give charity. A person desiring liberation for oneself or one's ancestors should give charity for Jnana Nishtha Brahmana. So among these four Brahmanas, Karmanishta, Taponishta, Swadhaya Nishta, or Grahasthas, Vanaprasthas, Brahmacharis, and Sannyasis. The Sannyasis should be given the highest priority for the charity. So we do so many yajnas, homas in our home, and we give charities to the Brahmanas. It should be the Sannyasis who have to receive the charity first. Suppose in the absence of such a sannyasi, so whom should we give? So according to the decreasing order, the first is a sannyasi, then is a brahmachari, then is a vanaprastha, then is a grihasthas. In this order, we have to give charity. So not that we have to neglect the sannyasis because they are free from all the material things. They are not eligible for charity. No. So highest is a sannyasi. So here His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu mentions about the rules for the devotees to give charity. What is he mentioning? Those practicing pure bhakti need not perform karma like this. He's mentioning. So who is doing pure bhakti need not practice this bhakti. There is no need of giving charity to the brahmanas. But charity should be given to a devotee of Lord Sri Krishna, even if he is not a brahmana. So all the Vedic scripture says one who is a devotee is a brahmana. But the other caste brahmanas, they don't accept these things. They won't accept a person who is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a brahmana. But the Prabhupada and everyone, all the previous acharyas, we all see how they have elevated each and every person to a brahmanas. Hippies to become a brahmanas. One who desires mukti worships jnanis, and one who desires prema worships pure devotee. But what is our goal? Is it moksha or is it pure devotional service or love for Krishna? Accordingly, our charity depends upon. If we are looking for a mukti, we may give donation to the ordinary brahmanas. But if you are desiring to serve, get the pure love of Godhead, it is only the devotees who should be given the charity, who should be served. Here in this purport, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada is an example of Advaita Acharya who has performed the Shraddha ceremony for his father, and the oblations were given, the charity was given first to Haridas Thakur, who is a Mohammedan. So in the ordinary category, Mohammedan is considered to be the lowest. So to that Haridas Thakur, he has given the charity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advocated Haridas Thakur as a Namacharya, the highest of the positions. So it doesn't depend upon how we are born, to which family we are born. If we are following this path of Mahatmas, and one can become a Mahatma. Charity should therefore be given to the first class transcendental. So all the Shastras are mentioning the same thing. So charity should be given to the first class devotees who are nothing but the devotees of Lord Sri Krishna. A Vaishnava is in higher position than a Jnani. Therefore, Advaita Acharya selected Vidas Thakura to be that person. So this is what is explained in this text 1 and 2. So we'll go into so in conclusion of the Shastras, that instead of feeding many Jnanakandis or Karmakandi Brahmanas, it is better to feed a pure Vaishnava regardless of where he comes from. So we have to organize satsangs, distribute prasada to all the devotees. This is what is recommended in this Bhagavad Gita. Text number 3. During the period of the offering oblations of the demigods, one should invite only 2 Brahmanas. And while offering oblations to the forefathers, one may invite 3 Brahmanas. Or in either case, only 1 Brahmana will suffice. Even though one is very opulent, he will not invite more Brahmanas or make various expensive arrangements in these occasions. So generally, when we do this Shraddha ceremony or we worship the devatas, we should invite Brahmanas to do that activities. So how many Brahmanas should be brought is mentioned clearly in this Bhagavatam. When you are doing Devata Archana, Devata worship, you have to invite 2 Brahmanas. So you have to give charity to 2 Brahmanas. And when you are doing Shraddha ceremony to the forefathers, you can invite 3 Brahmanas. Of course, you can invite 1 Brahmana as per our own level. But because we have money, because we are so opulent, we should not cross these things and invite so many Brahmanas. So instead of showing the opulence, I have so many things, I can give charity to so many other. This is what is given in by the life of Sri Advaita Acharya. When he performed Shraddha ceremony, he invited only Haridasa. Only 1 Brahmana who was given. You can invite Brahmanas, but the oblation should be given to only 1 Brahmana, and he given to only to Haridas Thakura. Thus he followed this principle. Name bhaktas chaturvedi mad bhakta swapacha priyaha. It is not necessary that one become very expert in Vedic knowledge before he can become my bhakta or a devotee. Even if one is born in a family of dog eaters, he can become my devotee and be very dear to me, spite of having taken birth. If anyone argues outside that how can these people can become a Brahmana, this chapter and 14th chapter and 15th chapter, you can show it and say this is where it is anyone who can chant the holy names can become Brahmana. Following this principle, one should invite a first class Brahmana to the or Vaishnava and realize his role and feed him while observing the Shraddha ceremony too often. So this is what the first importance should be given to the first class devotee who is a Vaishnava. Text number 4. If one arranges to feed many Brahmanas or relatives, what happens? During the Shraddha ceremony, there will be discrepancies in the time, place, and respectability and ingredients. The person to be worshipped and method of offering. What happens if you do cross this beyond? Clearly we can see do's and don'ts. Shastras will give us what to do and what not to do as well. So if you feed many Brahmanas or relatives, what will happen? There is discrepancies. Today we can see in the functions which we conduct, general function, marriage ceremony or outside, relatives who come there after ceremony finished, they start criticizing. We are not properly taken care. I have come a long way and supposed to take care. Of course, A host should take care of all the invitees, should respect that. It's not a lenience, but sometimes we can see there are mistakes happening in the ceremonies. So it is better to have the ceremonies in a low profile. So in India, especially in India, if you see, Indians spend lavishly on the three occasions: the birth of a child, the marriage ceremony, and the Shraddha ceremony. These are there is no discussion about it. So there are people who conduct marriage with 100 crores, 200 crores, and people conduct what is called first birthdays. So much is happening in this world, and they are wasting the entire money to feed non-brahmanas, non-devotees. Even they give non-veg in that ceremonies. That is a level which we are seeing right now. That should not happen. The elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam is also mentioned the marriage, all these ceremonies should be a low key profile, low profile. Otherwise, it becomes a proud activity and to showcase that I am so much rich. So here, in essence, the futility of karma kanda is mentioned about. So indirectly, this verse says karma kanda is not going to work. Why karma kanda is criticized of being insufficient in helping individuals? Because karma kanda alone cannot take us out of this cycle of birth and death. Our goal is to cross this material ocean, samsara sagara, birth, disease, old age, and disease. But karma kanda activities, though it is Vedic, it cannot take us beyond this samsara. It fails to liberate or lead to the highest spiritual goal, love of Krishna. The Vedic karma kanda doesn't lead us to the ultimate love of Krishna. Focus is only on achieving temporary material benefits. It is not lasting and fulfillment. The karma kanda activities are temporary and they cannot give us ultimate fulfillment. And it also lacks in complete knowledge. The Vedic karma kanda doesn't have deep understanding of the ultimate purpose, is bhakti. The results more in attachment to the fruits. That's why when Narada Muni, sorry, then Vedavyas has written all the Vedas, he was dissatisfied. And Narada Muni comes and says, "Oh, Vyasa, what have you done? You have given everything for their own enjoyment, but this is not taking them to the go back to Godhead. There is no love of Krishna. You whatever you have written is ultimately waste of time. Nobody reads it. No devotee reads it because there is no love for Krishna. So, of course, as a practicing devotees, we are not criticizing these Vedas. We have to still follow the Vedic Shastras. But ultimately, our goal should be Bhakti Shastras, which is love for Godhead. Text number 5 and 6. One should opt. Text number 5. When one gets the opportunity of a suitable auspicious time and place, one should, with love, offer food prepared with ghee to the deity of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then offer the prasada to the suitable person, a Vaishnava or a Brahmana. This will be the cause of everlasting prosperity. Text number 6. One should offer prasadam to the demigods, the saintly persons, one's forefathers, the people in general, one's family members, one's relatives, and one's friends, seeing them all as a devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because here clearly we can see that emphasis was given for the prasadam. We have to distribute prasadam. Wherever you have an opportunity, in whatever way you have an opportunity, we have to distribute prasadam. In our Bhakti Center, we are doing the Nitya Prasad Sevaya. So it is as per the injunctions of this. This is the ultimate food we have to give to the other people. So it should be prepared with ghee and we can see offer to the deity and then we have to offer it to all the devatas, all the people, considering them as the devotees. So outside people, they do philanthropic activities, they distribute food for food relief programs. And the food is not offered to Krishna or they don't distribute to the people thinking them as a devotees. So it is recommended that everyone distribute prasada considering every living entity being the part and parcel of the Lord. In Kali Yuga, there is a scarcity of food. We all know how much food is scarcity. And thus, philanthropy spends lavishly to feed the poor. So, as you see, what is the power of prasadam? Why prasadam is being stressed? If you see in an example of, say, Ramanujacharya, when he was often honoring prasadam, some other people were criticizing Ramanuja for eating the prasad. I don't remember the entire pastime, but to show the glory of the prasadam, what does Ramanuja do? He takes a morsel of the grains and drops it in a lake nearby. And some fishes eat when they ate this prasadam, they got the four-hand Vishnu form and then went back to the Vaikuntha. And these people who are criticizing saw this and they were amazed how these fishes were transformed into beautiful Vaishnavas and they got the ultimate destination of Vaikuntha. So you can see the power of a prasadam when it is coming from the lotus mouth of a pure devotee. That was one of the example. So we have to distribute prasadam to all the people. But we are eating prasadam, right? Every day we are honoring prasadam. But can we see four-hand forms? And did we see any Vaikuntha? No, no. We don't. First is we don't have sufficient uh, conviction that prasadam will deliver me. The second is, of course, getting Vaikuntha form is also good. But when we eat prasadam, we are already liberated from this material, from this four problems. We are in transcendental state, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. By eating the prasadam, we are in the Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma stage. Then it facilitates us into the bhakti. So the glories of prasadam is elaborately explained in this one of the lecture. The verse explains emphasizes about prasadam. Krishna's mercy is transmitted through prasadam. So prasadam is one of the important media where Krishna's mercy flows. It results in the purification of the heart. It purifies from the material contaminations to and material desires and the attachments. So we have to regularly eat prasadam. So Prabhupada mentions that if you chant the holy names and eat prasadam, these two will take us back to Godhead. At least there is no doubt. But we have to chant the holy names and eat holy prasadam. Spiritual advancement. It brings us spiritual advancement. Bhagavad Gita 9.26 says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Krishna accepts offering of a devotee. That prasadam is accepted by Krishna, who presents the food with the love and devotion. This food becomes an instrument for love and devotion. This is what is love of a devotee. And ultimately, as you know, divine mercy and mental well-being is also the secondary results of the prasadam. Text number 7 to 9. A person fully aware of the religious principles should never offer anything like meat, eggs, or fish in the Shraddha ceremony. And even if one is a Kshatriya, one himself should not eat such things. When suitable food be prepared with the ghee is offered to the saintly persons, the function is pleasing to the forefathers and the Supreme Lord, who are never pleased when animals are killed in the name of the sacrifice. So here you see what should be offered. Today, I have a colleague. So when his father has expired long back, he does the ceremony ritually, but he offers non-veg items like fish, meat, etc. And I asked, why are you giving this? Is not acceptable. He said, my father likes this. Because my father likes non-veg, I am giving the non-veg. So of course, he has a good intention of conducting a start the ceremony, but he doesn't have a knowledge how to conduct the ceremony. This is happening in the most of the people, even in the marriage ceremonies. People starting distributing non-veg. Even if you are a kshatriya, it's mentioned. Even if you are a kshatriya, some kshatriyas are allowed to eat meat. That's a different concept. But even if you are a kshatriya, you are not allowed to distribute meat, eggs, and prohibited items in this Shraddha ceremony. Here, in the context of the King Vena was mentioned, where King Vena was breaking all the rules of the Vedic inventions, and Brahmanas try to instruct Venas. This is not the right way. Whatever you are doing is not a good thing. And all the Brahmanas, as you all know, Brahmanas, with the power of their own mantra, they killed Vena. So we should set a role model for all these things. The text number 8. Persons who want to advance in the superior religion are advised to give up all the envy of the other living entities, whether in relationship to the body, words, or mind, there is no religion superior to this. Narada Muni is saying there is no religion beyond the ahimsa. So what is that? Superior religion. One who is follows a superior religion should not envy other living entities, should not kill other living beings. So if you see the activities of um, Brahmanas, as I mentioned in the chapter of Vena, the Brahmanas are following the superior religion. They know all the Dharma Shastras. But what did they do? They did not. They should not kill king. But what did they do? They killed the king. Is it an enemy to the other living entity? No. Here we can see how Krishna's judgment and through the Brahmanas are coming onto the King Vena. The Krishna judgment was absolute fairness, compassion, and ultimate wisdom. Krishna was compassionate through Brahmanas, the welfare of the whole world. A king should be an ideal ruler, but Vena is causing all the problems. So, King arrogance and oppression led to his subjects suffering. He was ultimately killed by Brahmanas in a way that would restore peace in the land. This is what the compassion of the Brahmanas is all about. All these activities, if you see, are aligned. Krishna killing all of the demons, Putana, all of it, the Brahmanas killing the things are ultimately aligned for dharma to prevent further degradation, which is nothing but compassion and mercy. Also, it is a perfect timing. Krishna knows what is the timing of Prithu Maharaj to come. It is a perfect timing when Prithu Maharaj has to enter. And through Brahmanas, Krishna killed Vena. Number 9. Because of an awakening of the spiritual knowledge, those who are intelligent in regard to the sacrifice, who are actually aware of the religious principles and who are free from material desires, control the self in the fire of spiritual knowledge or knowledge of the absolute truth. They may give up the process of ritualistic self. So it is mentioned that all the devotees who are following the path of devotional service can avoid the process of ritualistic ceremonies. People are generally very much interested in karma kanda ritualistic ceremonies for elevation to the higher planetary system. The objective of life is to stop completely the miseries of birth and death. They return back home. Ultimately, it's not that I am practicing devotion, I am doing sadhana, I will not do all the ritualistic activities. No. Even if you see His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he did the sadhana ceremony for his father, right? He just elevated sannyas, he did sadhana ceremony. All the sannyasis you see, they also follow all the ritualistic things. So it is not a license for us to say that I will not do this sadhana ceremony, but in what consciousness are we doing the sadhana ceremony? So we have to offer to the boga, and boga should be provided to the ancestors, thinking them as a devotees of Krishna. This is the ultimate way we have to do a sadhana ceremony. Text number 10. Upon seeing the person engaged in the performing the sacrifice, animals meant to be sacrificed are extremely afraid, thinking this merciless performer of the sacrifices, being ignorant of the purpose of the sacrifice and being most satisfied with killing others, will surely kill us. So it is in the purport it is mentioned. They say that Lord Jesus Christ, even if you see Lord Jesus Christ, when he was 12 years old, was shocked to see Jews sacrificing birds and animals in the synagogues. And then therefore rejected the Jewish system of religion and started the religious system of Christianity, adhering to the Old Testament, thou shalt not murder. One who is a proper Christian should follow the injunctions of the Lord Jesus Christ. Did Jesus Christ distribute fish, meat, etc.? No, he gave bread. So he was asking, they are asking for bread, and Christ gave the bread. He gave, thou shalt not kill. But conveniently, they have changed it to thou shalt not murder. So our goal is to not convert religion. Prabhupada says, our motto is to give a way how you can love God. So loving God doesn't come through when we kill animal. Jivadoya, we have heard, right? Jivadoya, Vaishnava Seva, then only we get Namarchi. If you kill animals, innocent animals, how can we get Jivadoya? So here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning how a person from being a merciless can be transformed into merciful. if you remember the story of Hunter Mugari, I'm not going into details. The Hunter Mugari, how he was transformed by Narada, by association of Narada Muni. Earlier he was killing mercilessly, half killing. But later when he was transformed by Narada Muni, you see how he was jumping around the road to meet Narada Muni so that ants will not die. How did he become from a merciless killer to the merciful being? Also, by the association of Narada Muni, we know how Ratnakar has been transformed into Valmiki Muni, and by his compassion, by his merciful attitude of Valmiki Muni, we got the great epic called Ramayana. What happens if we don't have Ramayana now? So how can they become so merciful? So by this way, one can become by devotional practice of devotional service, one can be converted from merciless to a merciful. But only thing what we should have is the faith in the process. Rugari and Valmiki had the faith in the process, faith in the Guru. That Guru thing we'll be seeing in the next session. One should have faith in the process and the faith in the Guru. Text number 11. Therefore, day by day, one who is actually aware of religious principles and is not heinously envious of poor animals should happily perform daily sacrifices, and those for certain occasions with whatever food is available easily by the grace of God. So, you mentioned here, you can do all these religious principles and is not heinously envious of poor. Don't kill animals. Should happily perform daily sacrifices. We can do all the required things. So Prabhupada mentions here, one who knows the actual purpose of religion is very much significant in this verse. Dharma means one should know the actual purpose of religion. What is the purpose of religion? To love Sarvadharman Parijya Mamekam Sharanam Maja. Become Krishna conscious is the topmost stage. The religious. That's why when we read Bhagavatam, Dharma Projita Kaitavartra Dharma. What does Bhagavatam do? It eliminates unwanted religion and it gives us the superior religion, which is Bhagavata Dharma, service to the devotees and Krishna. Anyone, whether a Grihastha or a Sannyasi, can keep small deities. What is the process? Can keep small deities of the Lord suitably packed or, if possible, installed, whatever may be. Whether we install it or you have a photo. So one colleague was asking, why are you installing the deities? A deity should be a thumb size. Generally, Brahmanas advise that a deity should be small size, not more than thumb. Otherwise, you have to do so many elaborate things. Of course, that is true. But the Shastra says whether the deity is small or big, it's a photo or whatever may be, it is a deity. Krishna. When we have that consciousness that the whatever I'm worshipping is Krishna, Krishna is sitting there, whether it is installed or not, it is the same thing. Installation means believing that Krishna is sitting, Lord Ram is sitting there. And thus worship the deities of Radha Krishna, Sita Rama, Lakshmi Narayana, Jagannath, or Sri Chaitanya Prabhu by offering food prepared in ghee and then offering the sanctified prasada to forefathers and demigods. This performance of sacrifice brings complete satisfaction. To seek satisfaction beyond matter. Today, when we do ritualistic ceremonies, people ask, when is the food? We are bothered about the food or we are bothered about the results of the activities. But nothing can give us satisfaction. Our elders, grandfathers used to say, Unnadanto Santupti Chandali. We have to be satisfied. How can we become satisfied? The matter will not give us satisfaction unless it is spiritual. So we have to make our activities into spiritual activities. So material means there are three things: duality, there is a change, there is impermanence. Material things are dual, changing, and impermanence. But the soul is eternal and transcendental, which we all know according to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. But when we are asking for something permanent and we are getting something temporary, will you be satisfied? Suppose there are two people inside a room and one person is completely opposite to the other person. Naturally, there is a disturbance. Similarly, there is an incompatible compatibility. Srila Prabhupada mentions, right? This Hare Krishna mantra is a song of the spiritual world, but we are in an incompatible situation. What is this incompatible situation? The soul is eternal and it is asking for something permanent, and we are getting something temporary through the matter. We should be satisfied beyond the matter, which is nothing but spiritual activities. Text number 12. So where our focus shifts from the meditation, what we should meditate upon. There are 5 branches of religion appropriately known as irreligion or vidharma, religious principles for which one is unfit, or paradharma, pretentious religion or avasa, analogical religion or upadharma, keeping religion, chaladharma. One who is aware of all religious life must abandon these 5 religious. So what are the 5 types of religion? Vidharma, or second is paradharma, and third is avasha, fourth is upadharma, and fifth is chaladharma. Everything but the principle of religion recommended by Krishna. So whatever is against the Krishna is against Sarvadharma Paritijya Mamekam Saranam Praja should be given up as religion. What is text number 13 saying? We'll see what 12 and 13 together. 12, 13 and 14. So religious principles that obstruct one from the following his own religion are called vidharma. Religious principles introduced by others are called paradharma. A new type of religion created by one who is falsely proud and who opposes the principles of Vedas is called upadharma. And interpretations by one's jugglery of words is called chaladharma. And 14th text says, pretentious religious systems manufactured by one who willfully neglects the prescribed duties of this order of life is called avasa, a dim reflection of or false similarity. But if one performs the prescribed duties for his particular ashrama or varna, why are they not sufficient to mitigate all the material desires? So in these 3 shlokas, the 5 types of religions which one should be avoided are mentioned, and what are those religion all about. The first is vidharma or irreligion. This type of irreligion obstructs the execution of one's own dharma. Though you think that this is the dharma, it obstructs your dharma. So you have certain duties, and certain kinds of rituals come and say you should not perform. Like it's called blind beliefs, like a black cat crossing a path. So you are going to the temple, or you are going for a important meeting, and you are somehow late, and a black cat crosses, and you stop without knowing what is the reason. And this type of religion is called irreligion. The second is paradharma, imitating religion, introduced by someone else or performing another person's duty unfit to oneself. Some people who are unauthorized, they speak about religion. We see so many apasampradayas and all the things, right? And if you follow such a religion, it's called paradharma. Abhasha dharma or pretentious religion, whimsically worshipping some devata by imagination and willfully neglecting one's prescribed duties. So you are not following the Vedic scriptures, you are following some other devatas for your own our own ultimate welfare benefits, and we are leaving our prescribed duties. Such kind of dharma is called Abhasha dharma. We say we don't do anything. Lord will take care of everything. We no need to do any activities. This type of, though it looks like authentic, but this is not right. We have to do our own part. So Krishna saves one who saves themselves. We have to do our own part, and Krishna does his part. Upadharma, concocted religions, according to suit their own things. There is a Ramayana by the Jain Ramayana. So all the things after the entire Ramayana is mentioned, they conclude that Ram has become a Jain. This is to suit their own concocted philosophy. This is called concocted religion. And Chaladharma, cheating, misinterpreting. It may be from the authentic source. It may be from the Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman paritajya mamekam sharanam raja. Sarva dharman paritajya. Some people interpret in a wrong way and say Sarva adharman paritajya. Krishna would have meant that Sarva adharman, because Krishna was mentioning about dharmas. His great Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was explaining. Arjuna was asking, what is my dharma? What is my eternal duty? I am a soul surrender unto you. Arjuna was asking about dharma, and Krishna was explaining about dharma, but where is the question of dharma coming, adharma coming? And these people concord and say, adharman. So, Krishna, what does sarva dharman means? So, whatever religion which is against Krishna's words should be abandoned, or every religion should be in line with Krishna. Anya Vilashe Shatunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. That is the meaning of Sarva Dharman Parititya. Such a cheating religion is called Chaladharma. And we have to be very cautious about these five kinds of religion. So ultimately, conclusion says any religious principles opposed to the principle of surrendering to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Krishna are to be considered religion, which is against Krishna's rule. Next number. That is what is all mentioned. Text number 15. Even if a man is poor, he should not endeavor to improve his economic condition just to maintain his body and soul together or not to become a famous religiousness. Just as a great python, although lying in one place, not endeavoring for his livelihood, gets the food it needs to maintain the body and the soul together. So even if we are poor, we should not endeavor to improve our economic condition. So how much we required to maintain the body and the soul, that much is required. So does that mean we should not go to our office? We should not do our duty? If we get promotion, we should not take the promotion? Of course, we can do it. But for the sake of livelihood, should not over endeavor. Atyahara prayasascha. So you can use your position in the service of the Krishna. That should be accepted. But whatever you are getting the money, the salaries, the what bonuses, the promotions, that should be utilized in the service of Krishna. But we should not over endeavor so that I can get a new villa, new car, new etc. I will have a luxurious life. That should not be the goal of our endeavor. Our goal should be ultimately to serve Krishna in whatever situation you are. Human life is spent, especially meant for developing Krishna consciousness. One need not even try to earn a livelihood. We no need to. Like the case of Mrigari, when Mrigari was sitting and chanting the holy names, all the people who are villages nearby, they started giving the food. You've seen that past time. So even we can go to such an extent, but as a devotees to set an example to others who following, we should not leave our prescribed duty. One should simply endeavor to increase. That is what we should see. So our present work should increase our Krishna consciousness. One should not desire to do anything, even to help his. Like Madhavendra Puri, for instance, would never go to ask for food. He used to get the food whatever people give to get. Text number 16. One who is content and satisfied and who links his activities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, deciding in everyone's heart, enjoys transcendental happiness. So who will get happiness? Is it sense enjoyer or satisfied people? So today's world is driven by the Rajoguna. So I want more and more and more. If I do more and more, I will be more happy. If I go get more and more money, I will be more happy. People, when recently appraisals happened, and my bosses they were so depressed, they did not get promotion. And why didn't they get promotion? Why are they depressed? Because they planned to purchase a villa, a 4 BHK villa, and they did not get the money for the 4 BHK villa because they did not get the promotion. They are dishappy. It should not happen. It should happen. The sense they think that if I get more, I will be happy. Matter will not give us happy. Only satisfaction. The spiritual activities make us happy. That is what transcendental happiness is all about. Without endeavoring for his livelihood, where is such happiness for a materialistic man? Can you show any materialistic person who is happy? No, they are not happy. Ultimately, they are worried about Janma, Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadhi, who are impelled by lust and greed, and who therefore wanders in all directions with a desire to accumulate wealth. Go here and there, but we cannot find happiness. Happiness is within us, is with the Paramatma sitting within all of us. Text number correctly. For a person who has suitable shoes, here an example is given. For a person who has suitable shoes on his feet, there is no danger even when he walks on the pebbles and thorns. For him, everything is auspicious. Similarly, for one who is always self satisfied, there is no distress. Indeed, he feels happiness everywhere. So, one day in our organization, there are people who work on mechanical structures, they create mechanical structures. There are huge mechanical structures. Those who are working on a mechanical structure, they have to wear a big boots. It's very strong boots, not an ordinary boot. Even a big stone falls on it, nothing happens to the feet. So I did not know about it when I was joined that time. And this mechanical guy was passing by, and he stepped on a hot iron rod, and nothing happened. I worried about something has happened, but nothing caused problem. And I asked, didn't it hurt you? He said, this boot will protect me from all these things. That's why organization has given these boots. Similarly, that's what the example is given here. If you have a proper boot, there is no danger for thorns and pebbles. Similarly, when you have bhakti, there is no problem in this samsara cycle. Though you get so many thorns in our day-to-day life, we can cross easily. But we should have a strong boot in the sadhana. Sadhana acts as a strong protecting boot. My dear king, a self-satisfied person can be happy even with the developed drinking water. However, one who is driven by the senses, especially by tongue and genitals, must accept the position of a household dog to satisfy his senses. So, this kind of self-satisfied people can be satisfied with small amount of water. You see the example of Madhavendra Puri, how he was satisfied with one small cup of milk, which he would get it. That also in occasional times. So there, as a devotee, devotees are all self-satisfied. They are not bothered about getting opulent things. But one who is driven by tongues and the senses, one who tries to eat a lot, one who is enjoying the sex life, they have to accept the household like a dog. They see in the news, people are being bitten. Wife is being beaten by husband. Husband is beaten by the wife, but still they stay together. Of course, a wife should always stay together with the husband in whatever case may be. But why they are torturing, why they are suffering that lot of torture? The only reason is they're getting enjoyment from the opposite company. By the end of the night, they'll get their share of happiness. For that thing, they're acting like a dog. So Srila Prabhupada doesn't recommend such a way. Of course, being in a grahastha, you have got a license to do that in a religious way. But the better thing is to avoid an unwanted sex life. So a Brahmana or a cultured person in Krishna consciousness will not enter anyone's service to maintain the body and the soul together. So earlier Brahmanas were given charity, but what do the Brahmana do? They donate it to the Krishna the temple, and again the next day they go for the bakshis. Especially not for the satisfaction of the senses. A true devotee, a true Brahmana will not endeavor for sense enjoyment. Even if he is not, he has nothing to eat, he can drink a little water. That is sufficient. A devotee is never driven by the dictations of the tongue and the genitals, and thus he never victimized by the laws of material nature. So, as a sadhaka, we are all failing in these things, especially me. I'm not unable to control the tongue. Of course, Ekadasi, one of the objective of Ekadasi is to control this tongue in the service of Krishna. But we know how we do Ekadasis. We do prepare more Ekadasi items. So we are only feeding our tongue. But okay, it's okay. We are doing as per the injunctions. So we have to tolerate ourselves. So we have to tolerate today. We are not a devotees. We fail in certain things. But are we sticking to the process or not? That doesn't give us a license to commit wrong things. But we have to stick to the process of Krishna consciousness. So slowly, all these things will come into our lives. So we should not think that Oh, Arey, this is not illegal for me. This is elevated thing. I cannot reach this. One day or the other, when we become sincere, we can follow whatever the principles which we are getting from Bhagavatam, provided we have the association of a sincere devotees. Because of greed for the sake of the senses, the spiritual strength, education, austerity, and reputation of a devotee or a brahmana who is not self-satisfied dwindle, and his knowledge gradually vanishes. The strong bodily desires and needs of a person disturbed by hunger and thirst are certainly satisfied when he eats. Similarly, if one becomes very angry, the anger is satisfied by chastisement and its reaction. But as for the greed, even if a greedy person has conquered all the directions of the world or has enjoyed everything in the world, still he is not satisfied. So if you have hunger and thirst, drink water or eat something, your hunger is satisfied. If you are angry, you can chastise the person, your anger gets satisfied. But when there is a greed, greed is not satisfied. There is a saying in the English, this world has everything for everyone's need, but not for one man's greed. The whole world cannot satisfy a one man's greed. And how many greedy persons are there? So many. Crores and crores, billions and billions of people are all greedy today. I want more and more money. 1 crore is not sufficient. 2 crores is not sufficient. I am not satisfied with one villa, two villa, three villa, four villas. I expand, 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 expand. Not satisfied anywhere. In the name of investments, you see, I am investing in this, I am investing in that, I am investing there. Yes, you can do investment. Investment in Krishna conscious, investment for the purpose of Krishna consciousness is also good. We hear the lecture of by His Grace and Anandavinda Prabhu, how he explains about investment. Investment is good provided it is used for Krishna. But are we using it for Krishna? So we have to understand. So if we are not doing it for Krishna, it is only the greed. But ultimately, what greed should be there? Tatra laulyam ekalam moolam. This is the best path available. Laulyam, you should have laulyam. Spiritual greed. If one is very greedy to enhance his Krishna consciousness, this is a great boon. This is the best path available. Hare Krishna. So today I was given till text number 20. So entirely it is. So Narada Muni is explaining the qualities of a Brahmana. So Karmanishta Brahmanas, Taponishta Brahmanas, Jnananishta Brahmanas, and ultimately Sannyasis. The Sannyasis is the ultimate Brahmanas. So we have to do all the Vedic rituals as injected in the scriptures, but we have to distribute prasadam, do all the ceremonies. In these ceremonies, when we have a chance, we have to distribute prasadam to all the Vaishnavas. With that, all we have seen. So ultimately, whatever we are doing, is it satisfying Krishna? Consider Haritoshnam. If you are not satisfying Krishna, everything become Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I open this forum for any questions, chastisement, anything. Hare Krishna, thank you all.
Hare Krishna, Santosh Aditya Prabhu. Wonderful session, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
on the
much for your
auspicious day of Ekadashi. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Wonderful session. Very good.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for taking up this in short notice. Thank you so much.
So I thought this is very much applicable for me. I was thinking it was being taught to me. So that's why I took up this service so that I can one day purify myself. Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Silva Machasi, for giving me this.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much for the nice
Thank you.
class. Wonderful class.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Dandavat. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Hare
much. So if there are no doubts, shall we end up the session?
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Sure, Prabhuji. We'll end the session.
Pancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.